Hello you lovely lot and welcome to the channel. Today's video I'm going to be collating all the picture books that I have recently read into this mini review, kind of roundup, wrap up. I've been reading a lot of children's picture books in the search for what is good, what I can share with the parents that are coming to the rhyme time groups, what I can read during story times at the library, all that good stuff. And also just because some of these books look great and I want to see what they're about, especially when it comes to illustrations in children's books. They are top tier. So I've got a selection that I have been reading over the last couple of months, basically since the new year, and I wanted to do a little bit of a mini review of each of those. So we're going to start off with New Baby, and this one I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. I think the ratings are going to be like irrelevant with these, I just wanted to kind of talk about them, but this was just such a sweet story adjusting to life with young children and a new baby on the way from the perspective of two young children, two twins, who are obviously having their life turned around and not too sure what to make of it. I really love the beautiful display of diversity, and I'll definitely be recommending this to families who are looking for that kind of thing in the library. Following on, I read Troll Stinks, and this is a retelling or a sort of reimagining with the characters, I guess, from Billy Goat's Gruff, and instead of the more fable original story, we've got it from the perspective of cyberbullying. The goats find a phone and they end up tormenting a little troll who lives in a local bridge or under a local bridge and just really being mean. This is another one that I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a great first look at cyberbullying for younger children, especially with children younger still becoming quite addicted or introduced to technology at quite a young age. So I thought it was something that, you know, younger demographic would need to know about, as younger children are seeing technology earlier, right? I thought it was a good spin on the classic nursery rhyme, and it was well done overall. I liked the rhyming nature of it, and I also really liked the scruffy style of the illustration. I thought it was quite eye-catching. It's also a great one for me to keep in my mind if we ever do an anti-bullying campaign or display at work too. Next children's picture book I want to talk about briefly is Owl Babies, and I swear I had read this one when I was a child myself. This one is about 3 little owl siblings who one day wake up in the night to find their mother missing, and they are so frightened, they're so worried, they think she's not coming back. She's only out hunting, but to them it feels like forever that she's gone. And this was just absolutely darling. I gave it 3 star again. This had such a cute story at the heart of it, lovely drawings. It was quite a nostalgic read for me, and I feel like it kind of brings to light that that concept of time for young children, because you could be gone for like a couple of minutes and they, you know, some children haven't learned yet the meaning that you're gonna come back, you know. So I guess there's a conversation of like trust, abandonment, timing, that sort of thing. So yeah, I really loved it, and the little owls are absolutely adorable. A 4-star read in this collection of children's picture books is I Talk Like a River, and this one is about a little boy that struggles with stuttering. The description is really good, so I'm just going to read that. What if words got stuck in the back of your mouth whenever you tried to speak? What if they never came out the way you wanted them to? Sometimes it takes a change of perspective to get the words flowing. I wake up each morning with the sounds of words all around me, and I can't say them all. When a boy who stutters feels isolated, alone, and incapable of communicating in the way he'd like, it takes a kindly father and a walk by the river to help him find his voice. Compassionate parents everywhere will instantly recognise a father's ability to reconnect a child with the world around him. I thought the metaphors for struggling with speech was absolutely beautiful imagery and descriptions to connect with a young audience. It added to this soft lyrical feel to the story, and I loved that we had this kind of gentle example of invisible disabilities and diversity within your friendship group, people you might know, knowing that we're all different and that's okay. Then another one with beautiful illustrations. I feel like the art style felt really fluid, and the watercolor style really added to the whole title and the whole like a simile of, you know, I talk like a river. So it all kind of added together to create this beautiful imagery. It was a lovely book showing people's differences and learning to embrace them. Also read Tadpole's Promise, which is super cute. It shocked me. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. And in this one, we meet a tadpole and a caterpillar who fall in love. An unlikely duo, but it gets a bit strange. We had toxic caterpillars, hungry frogs. I was not expecting this to go in the direction that it did, which says a lot about me with my animal management degree. But yeah, this was shocking. A little bit of a jump scare. Maybe I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it was a fun book filled with lots of bright colour. Showcased the circle of life. It showcased life cycles in terms of the development of frogs, the development of caterpillars, that sort of thing. It was just a bit strange. A 5-star read for me was I Remember, which it touched my heart. This was a beautiful and heartfelt story about a nanny and a grandson, and how the grandson gently just goes through the motions and still enjoys her company whilst she's going through dementia. And he doesn't make her feel silly or that she's being forgetful. He's just such a kind little boy in this story, having a play date with his nanny, who doesn't always remember that she is his nanny. And it just warmed my heartstrings a little bit close to home, but in the best way. This beautifully showed that if children are able to be so gracious with someone who is struggling with their memory, then anybody can. And yeah, I thought it to be beautiful. And again, as I'm going to keep saying, the illustrations in this was stunning. I also gave 5 stars to On Sudden Hill, which is about the suddenness of change in a friendship group. We follow a little boy who is best friends with this other little boy, and they go on this hill and they play imaginary games with these cardboard boxes and make wonderful things. They're super creative, until one day another little boy comes up the hill and asks to play. He actually mustered up quite a lot of courage because he'd been watching them from afar, seeing how much fun they are having with their cardboard boxes and their make-believe games. And so he drags his own one up and he's like, I've been meaning to ask, but I was nervous, can I please play with you? And then the dynamic shifts to a trio from a duo, and the original little boy that we're following is not sure how he feels about that, so much so that he locks himself at home and he doesn't answer their knocks, he doesn't play out with them anymore, and he just feels really strange. It was a great depiction of uncertainty and jealousy and how to talk through those emotions. It really can be a lot for anyone, really, when a balance and a routine is disrupted. But this story depicted that in such a gentle way, an encouraging way, an engaging way to work through those adversities, and showed that in this particular case you can come out of it with a new friend. And I thought that was fantastic. A great lesson to be learned. I also gave 5 stars to Bodies Are Cool, a picture book celebration of all kinds of bodies. This was body positivity in all its glory. It was fantastic. I loved how diverse it was, how it just showcased that, again, everybody can be different, everybody's bodies are different, there's nothing to be ashamed of with that, there's nothing to fear from that, in terms of, you know, there's a lot of stigma around having the ideal body type, but what is that? And I think it was very age appropriate in reflecting that you are who you are, you look how you look, and that is perfectly fine. That is uniquely you. And every line on your body, every scar, it tells a story, and it tells the story of you. And I thought that was beautifully put. And then the last book that I read in terms of children's stories was Patton's Pumpkin, and it's a traditional flood story from southern India. And this one was another striking cover. The cover and the orange and the vibrancy and the type of drawing style used for the front cover specifically and throughout the story really caught my interest. I just loved how bold and bright everything was. I ended up giving this one a 3 out of 5 stars. and I'll tell you a little bit about it. So when Patton finds a yellow flower vine wilting in his valley, he replants and cares for it, watching as the pumpkin appears and grows taller than the goats, taller than the elephants, and as tall as the very mountains. When a storm comes into the village and floods everything, him and his family and all his animals take refuge by hollowing out this pumpkin and using it as kind of like a boat to keep safe until the floods die down, the waters go, and they can get back to dry land and rebuild again. And I thought it was a fantastic story. I love hearing other cultures, traditions and folk tales, and especially if they're like fabulistic and like have a moral to the story sort of thing. And this was a fantastic story. Again, it kind of showcases that across the world we all have a common theme in like a flood story, like an end of days story. Do you know what I mean? Like we all share that sort of connection with how we storytell and give our warnings and our messages and our heritage to the next generation. So yeah, that wraps up today's video. I hope you've enjoyed this little video and potentially have found some little treasures in books that you can read or recommend to young ones, or even other people that just enjoy the beauty and the care put into children's picture books. Yeah, if you have any recommendations, do let me know. But for now, I shall catch you in another video soon. Bye.